Sandra all the time is here with the cold hard truth. She's the ears and the eyes for me and you. Every day, everyone want to hear from Sandra. And every time on the air, she's getting better. So tell your sister, tell your brother, tell your mama, call Sandra in the morning and in the evening. They always calling Sandra. And when they start fighting, they calling Sandra. And
That's right, folks. Everyone is telling their mama about the cold hard truth. Welcome to another episode with more truth-telling, more problem-solving, and of course, more tea spilling than ever before. Sit back, students, grab your tea and turn up the volume because class is now in session. Call in at 936-2626 because your voice matters. Share your opinion on issues that matter the most to you. All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Hump Day Wednesday. How's everybody doing this beautiful morning? Hope you guys are doing well. Let's get this show on the road. Shani said, I'm the first one in class today. You deserve a prize, girl. We should give you a prize this morning. Let me think about it. Let me think about what I have in my arsenal of goodies. As Aunt Lottie used to say, the early bird gets the worm. She also said, early to bed, early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. Yep, get it done. Get your day going. That's the way to do it. Everybody's okay. Let me check my temperatures around here. It feels a little bit warm in the studio today. Boy, it is going to be a hot summer. Anybody else feel it coming? Woo-wee, honey child. Let me tell you something. I feel it. I feel the heat. I feel the heat. Yeah, it was hot yesterday. Oh, I got these standing fans. I think I might have to start putting one in the office when I'm sitting here, when I'm standing here. I can turn that on because they move good little breeze, let me tell you. Sometimes I have one of those on. I think the air conditioning is on, but it's actually not on. All right, give me 1 second here. Phone lines are open, 936-2626. Toll free for Flow customers, courtesy of Flow. Thank you, Flow. Thank you, Ronaldo. He really pushed to make that happen for me. I appreciate you, sir. All right, we got lots to talk about today. Beautiful day in paradise. Shenanigans all over the place, honey child. I feel like I have to put on my hair today. Why is it so hot? Oh my gosh. So yesterday we're going to talk about the swearing in ceremony. I did go to that. And I feel hot. Hold on. I got to drop the temperature just a little bit. There we go. It's finally kicking in. Whew. Might be me. So yesterday, I must say that I was a little bit taken aback by some of the shenanigans. So let me tell you how yesterday went, and then we can get into the shenanigans. Yes. All right. So, I told you guys in the morning, I wasn't sure if I was going to go to the swearing in ceremony, but I did end up going. I actually had quite a full day because I had to meet with my lawyer, Friday's Court of Appeals. So I had to do that. And then, I was just busy. And of course, meeting with him was priority to go over some stuff for Friday. And so I wanted to get all these things done and kind of out of the way. And I was cutting it a little bit close because I needed to go get my little hair style done. I like to do my hair when I go to these events. And so I told him, the hairstylist that is, that put it up for me like in a little bun or something. Because, oh my gosh, it's hot. What else can I tell you? I'm like, oh, I can't take the heat. And I knew I was wearing black. I wear a little black jumper. And I knew, honey child, that I would be very, very hot sitting out in that sun. We were outdoors, not direct sun, but it's still hot. I kind of sat in the back and I wasn't that far from one of the fans. In fact, a young lady came over and said, Auntie, come and sit by us. We're like right in front of the fan. I said, actually, I'm not feeling too bad. So, okay, hold on. Let me mute YouTube there. So I said, no, I'm good. Just, I'm not going to move. Because when you start to move, that's when things get hotter. So, so I had to put my hair up in a bun, old people bun. And that worked out for me, though, because I must say that I wasn't really hot. Although I was wearing full black, it was a jumper. I still felt fine. Yeah. You got to plan. You got to think about these things and you got to plan ahead because, summer is quickly approaching. It's May now and the temperature is rising exponentially, if we can say that. So anywho, I got there a tad late. And I was surprised that there were not more people there. I must say, I don't know if because it was a Tuesday after a holiday, a lot of you couldn't take off of work because sometimes these things happen. Your boss is like, you just got a 4-day weekend. What do you mean you need to go to swearing in? That's not going to work for me. So, not quite sure if that's what happened. But there was a lot of empty seats. So I was like, I expected more people. Anywho, of course, there would have been people on the inside as well. But I saw photos of the inside and there were empty seats there too. So I'm like, where are the people? This is a day to celebrate. And anywho, things were going without a hitch. Everybody got sworn in, all the members. Until, dun, dun, dun. Yes, until we got to that one point where we heard, and any other nominations for premier? So they swore in Mr. Ezra Miller. Congrats. Mr. Ezra kind of made a misstep where he said, and you know what is so funny? There are people at the event actually watching our live stream because they said the screens there weren't really the best, so they couldn't quite see it properly. And so, what's this? And so they were sitting there watching it on their phones, watching CMR stream it on their phones. But yeah. So when they said that, and Kenneth Bryan jumped up and nominated Joey Hugh, I was like, Joey who? Joey who? No. Kenneth. I couldn't remember them doing this last time, but somebody said that they think they did. And I was like, okay, but Joey, have you looked at any of the polls and taken any of that feedback on board? Or is the progressive just living in proverbial la la land. Like, seriously? I thought the people made it abundantly clear that not only do we not want a progressive government, but you would be the last person in this place and time, unless there's some parallel universe that I don't know anything about that exists only in the progressives' minds. You came last in all of the polls for premier. Sorry, Joey. It is what it is. You know, like somebody said yesterday, you're the leader of the losers right now. Nobody wants you. That's got to be a hard pill to swallow, I know. But it's the truth. Ay, ay, ay. Well, everybody there was a collective gasp on the outside. People were like, oh, what? Lucky Body says Kenneth Bryan is a disgrace. Well, poor Kenneth. What can I say except WTH? What were you thinking? I guess they put him up to it. And people were saying to me, I had somebody message me yesterday and they said, why is it that Kenneth is always the one bringing these foolish things? Like, are they using him? Is he using them? Like, people are trying to understand the dynamics between Kenneth and the progressives. And I think it is that of a symbiotic parasite. Yes? So what I mean by that is they're equally using each other. So you guys know how these parasites work, don't you? Some parasites will literally suck the life out of you, and you know you're just giving them life, and they're taking yours. Others, you can live with them. You know, they feed off of you, and somehow you get a little something, I guess, out of the situation. And they're not necessarily going to kill you. It's like the ones that are on your eyelashes. You know, we all have these little, well, technically they're not parasites, but they're, what do they call? They're little critters. I forget, but they live on our skin. And so they help take the dead skin away. Like they're constantly eating at your dead skin and stuff, which helps your skin because your skin needs to, you know, we don't shed skin like most things, but you know, that helps. And they're on your eyelashes too. Apparently they live in your eyelashes. So, you know, you have to keep them clean to a certain extent, but no matter how much you scrub your eyelashes, they're always there. Yep. And they feed at night when you're sleeping on whatever is on your eyelashes. So you just can't let them get out of control. So that's what I think is going on here with Kenneth and the PPM. It's a symbiotic. Is that the right word? I think so. It's a symbiotic relationship where, you know, they're getting something from each other, but in a weird kind of twisted way. That's why I give the parasite analogy. So mutually, they're using each other. So I don't know who gets the better benefit. I mean, most people don't think it's Kenneth for sure. And I don't know if the progressive thinks that it's them either. Yeah, I'm not sure. But they put him up to it, or he put himself up to it. Only God knows. And I think that he has really fallen from grace when it comes to being, you know, the man of the people, which a lot of people thought, okay, this is Kenneth. This is going to be our champion. You know, most of you were like, he's like me. He's got a criminal record. He has redeemed himself. You know, he's showing that you can come from anywhere. Like he's the little choo-choo train that could. You know, that's what we liked about Kenneth. And I remember when he first ran the second time and when he won that year. And there are people who are like, I don't like Kenneth. he's got a drug conviction, this, that. And I was like, give him a chance. I said, look at how many of our young people, unfortunately, have drug convictions. And, when they come out, are we not saying that we're people of second chances? So give him a chance, let's see what he can do. I think his heart is in the right place. And sometimes all you can do, folks, is give people the opportunity. What did Aunt Lotta used to say? You give them enough rope and they'll hang themselves. And all you have to do is listen, watch, and pay attention. And eventually people reveal who they are. You cannot pretend. People pretend, yes, but you cannot pretend forever. At some point, whoever you are is revealed, in moments of stress and moments of whatever. And so I always say, in fact, people are very complex individuals. They're not one way all the time. You guys know me. I'm not one way all the time. Sometimes I'm as sweet as molasses, child. I'd give you sugar. And then other times I'm not sweet at all. I'm like, don't be crossing them lines, honey, child, because you're going to see a different side of Auntie. Mm-hmm. So it depends. It's situational. But I think your core personality is what will reveal itself. And so I think some of that is going on with Kenneth. And when people show you who they are, let them. It's sad. I mean, he has, and I don't want to say that people have changed. I think sometimes you reveal who you are, right? So this arrangement with the progressives was done out of desperation on Kenneth's part. He felt like he needed a team. Maybe he's just not used to being by himself. Some people can't be by themselves. Some people feel a way when they're on their own. And maybe this go around, because so many other people were joining teams and parties were coming out, he felt the pressure to join the progressives. Like he needed them. He needed that team, I guess. And I mean, there are logical reasons, obviously, for being with a team. I think that Alric should have joined up personally with TCCP. I think that would have been beneficial to him. So, as we reflect on the election and how things played out, in the end, Kenneth still pulled it together. He got reelected, but of course, getting reelected and sitting on the back bench, I know for sure, is not where he wants to be. I'm sure it's not where any of them want to be, but keep the backbench seats nice and warm, honey child, because you're going to be there for the full 4 years, okay? Just relax. So when he put Joey forward yesterday, everybody was like, oh, how dare you? How dare you? Who are you? Child, I was royally entertained, actually, by the people on the outside, especially because, on the inside, you can't make no noise. So on the outside, we had the privileges of cheers and jeers and the works. And I was here for it. Y'all know me. I was sitting there like, y'all go on through. And it wasn't me making the noise. I was just in there. At one point when they called at Juliana O'Connor Conley, there was like boos in the audience. I was like, y'all did not just do that. Woo! I was just like, this is comedy. I was having a good little comedic relief session all this time. So it is interesting. And I tell you what, we were all shocked, I think, when Kenneth did that. And quite frankly, I was also a little bit disappointed in that he allowed whoever, or whether he put the idea in his head, to be used to be the one who's going to nominate Joey. But I guess as his deputy, perhaps that's part of what you do, right? You sacrifice yourself for the team. Take one for the team, Kenneth. you're going to be taking a lot for your team. And the next election, you have one opponent. Now, please, Carmen, don't run again. Nobody else run again. There's some seats that you can only take them out with one person. All of the critical ones, Boddentown West, Georgetown Central, anybody that you guys want to move, you've got to make sure there's only one person running. So all of you parties, you got to start thinking more strategically and get it together. Okay? Thinking from now. And if you ran against Kenneth Ante and you intend to do it again the next election, because to be fair, most people do not, what is this? Dropbox. I'm not saving this Dropbox. Most people do not actually win the first go round. That's unusual for a first timer to win. I think all of the people, I think even McKeeva Bush, I stand to be corrected, but I believe the first time he ran, he didn't get in either. So don't be dismayed by the fact that you were not successful the first time. The only reason you need to be dismayed is if you only got 21 or 22 votes or 9, 10, 11, then you know that obviously you're not going nowhere in a million years. So it doesn't really matter. But, keep chipping away at it. You got 4 years to work on it. So let me say this. We were shocked and displeased that they were trying this thing. First of all, they knew they didn't have the votes. So people were saying to me, oh, does he know something that we don't know? He doesn't know anything we don't know. They just trying a thing. They just wanted to say Premier Andre Ebanks, the Honorable Andre Ebanks now, wasn't going to go unchallenged. And so they put Joey in the mix. And of course, every time there was a vote for Andre, there were cheers. And when there was a vote for Joey, they were like, a collective sigh and moaning. It is no wonder. I got to tell you the truth. It is really no wonder. People were not favorable to the shenanigan at all. Who seconded the motion? I can't remember even who seconded it. Anywho, obviously he didn't get enough votes. And, just stay on the back bench. You're the leader of the losers. The leader of the opposition. Relax yourself. You're right where you're supposed to be. Y'all will learn a lesson from this yet. I'm telling you. So anywho, I tell you, people sent me pictures from inside the parliament. Of course, I don't even know. I can't remember who I honestly didn't look and see who they're from. I'm just looking at my screen right now. But what I'll tell you on my phone, what I'll tell you is ultimately the people will have their say. And you cannot, under any circumstances, my darling, not give the people what they want. Kenneth, you got to learn a couple key lessons here, right? If you continue to not learn anything, all of us are going to be wondering what's wrong with you. I'm just saying. So you're now with the what's the party name? Them, your friends, the progressives. Just stay there and cool your jets. Don't be calling anybody. We don't want to hear anything about you wanting to join up with anybody else because that's not going to work. Yes, sir? Yes. Oh, Julie was the one who seconded it. Thank you. All right, Juliana O'Connor Conley. Yeah, I couldn't remember. So sit there. You ran with them. You guys didn't take the government. Now it's time for you to just sit there for 4 years and be a good opposition. But we know that that's going to be a hard task for you all because it seems like they're hell bent on giving us another 4 years of nothing but stress and drama. The people don't want that. You see last time what happened you guys think the protesting was like one or two people. There was a wide range of people who were not out there protesting, who were like, listen, we don't want y'all. I heard civil servants yesterday in the gallery. They're like, I'm a civil servant, so I can't say much, but we don't want them. We're done with them. Take a hint. Seems like y'all can't take a hint. So the people were not happy. And Kenneth, one more thing, please. Come get your mama of the comment section on social media. She's starting to get on people's nerves. And poor Miss Donna, we don't want to respect any of her elders. But honey child, might I just say that she's missing a couple things. And I would not want anyone to have to put her in her place. So I'm going to suggest to you, come get your mama. Because she's sitting there saying the most and having the most to say. And people are not, listen, these people messaging me. And I'm like, I said, listen, I don't know nothing about what a woman going on with, you know. All I know is she's starting to get on people's nerves. So it might not be a bad idea for you to try talking to her. If she's listening this morning, Miss Donna, people are kind of sending me messages like, what is wrong with her? I don't know. You have the most to say. There's one comment they circled yesterday. Somebody in their group was like, I don't even understand what that means. Y'all just need to relax. Good morning, caller.
Morning, Auntie Sandy.
Morning, sir.
How's it going?
Wonderful. How are you?
First things first, please leave Miss Donna alone. Your mama would defend you. My mom would defend me. Everybody's mama would defend them. That's just how this thing goes.
No.
It's an emotional thing, and when you hear people saying bad things about your son or daughter,
nobody's saying nothing about him. These are stories that have nothing to do with him. I mean, they're political stories, but nobody's talking about Kenneth, and she jumps in and has something to say. So this isn't defending him. Have you seen the comments that I'm referring to?
And I'm talking about I'm just talking about the principle of.
Well, then
I'm talking about
the principle has to be based on facts.
Sandra, if somebody says something about Marlon, you got to defend that to the death. If somebody said about your kid, something about your kid, you can defend it to the death. That's just what emotions do. That's the reality.
When you're in politics, Johan, here's a nugget for you. When you're in politics, you need to sit down and have a conversation with those closest to you to do a couple of things, okay? Because otherwise they'll be like her. That's all they do is sit on social media all day writing nonsensical comments. Just stay out of it.
Fair point. Well, I'll let them deal with their personal business. I call them for something else.
Okay.
Auntie Sandy, if you think about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
The desperation displayed yesterday, I think, was off the charts. I think we all agree with that.
Yes.
How many times do you want to lose? You lose at the polls, the whatever the new crew are called, National Coalition, beat you to forming a government. Obviously, the people, you might have had 7 seats, 8 seats, but nobody wanted to work with you for a variety of different reasons, all that seemed valid to the majority of us in the country. So they were unsuccessful. But then you compound that by, on the day of swearing in, you go and put yourself in a position to compound your misery and have the country see yet again that we really don't want you, and you just never had the numbers. So I think that speaks to mindset. I think that speaks to desperation. But more than anything else, you've been around politics a long time. You know, I've watched it become what it is today. When you take money from people, sponsors, financiers, big business, they are desperate for you to win. So they're going to encourage you to do whatever it takes, because everybody that gives you money, big sponsorships, big donations, they want a return on that investment. And now all those people that have shelled out big money to the Red Squad, they are left holding the bag because they had big dreams, big aspirations. Companies needed major concessions. Companies needed favorable government and a positive ear that would listen to them. Now, if you understand the game of politics, this wasn't just 8 people, you know, trying to make a last-ditch effort. but that was a reflection of the desperation of the people that have financed them, sponsored them, given them, controlled them, and basically demanded, you must do this because I can't be out of pocket that level of money. And let's face it, the campaigns that were run, especially the Red Squad, there wasn't no $200,000 campaign. Okay. Secondly, when you look, it was in excess of that by far. And let's face it, the reality of Cayman is the only billing that counts is the money that you spend after nomination day. You can pay for things 6 months in advance because your sponsors and donors give you the money to pay for things in advance. So it doesn't count against that period when nomination day has come and gone, right? But again, the major point that I'm making is nobody gives you big money because they like you, especially corporate Cayman. So let's understand who the real drivers and the desperate persons and groups are because they want a return on their investment. Other thing that I was going to say to you, effectively, when you get to the point of embarrassing yourself in such a public forum, how are we supposed to have confidence in you again? Because there's one thing to lose, but there's another thing to lose twice and to shoot yourself in the head publicly twice. Like at what point does your pride kick in and go, no, boy, I can't deal with embarrassment? Because 8 will never be greater than 11, ever.
Yes. I don't know what kind of reverse math they were trying, but anywho.
Listen, it is what it is. And the other point that I want to make, Auntie Sandy, you play a role. You know, you drive a lot of the establishment crazy and people live in fear of the CMR machinery for all the obvious reasons. But let me ask you something. When you get to the stage where local election observers can say categorically, they saw no evidence of vote buying, please put up a poll. Please put up one of your CMR polls where you ask the public if they are aware of and if they've ever seen vote buying. Because
yes, Chris was handing out $500 and $1,000 to people.
Listen to me, and not just Christmas. Election time is like Christmas.
No. I said Chris. I didn't say Christmas. During the election time, Chris Saunders was handing out money. Those people that come here are oblivious to what's really happening in this country.
That was the local observers that said they saw no evidence of.
You mean not the ones that were visiting?
No, the ones that were visiting have an agenda, because when they can tell you, oh, by the way, you need
about residents.
You need to expand your pool. But my point is this: the day Caymanians surrender that,
no, sir,
right?
No, we're not doing that.
We have lost this country for good.
No, we're not doing that.
And regardless of what team you support, regardless of who you support, we must never allow non-Caymanians to participate in the electoral process.
Yeah, exactly.
Period. Point blank.
I don't know anywhere in the world that even happens. But anyway, we're going to talk about that. Another caller. Thank you so much, Johan. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program.
Good morning. And
good morning. I'm good, honey child. I had to put on my hair because I'm getting hot today. I don't know if it's, just the regular heat.
My hair sticks so cool. You know that. Like my hair breeze really cool, but you have real thick and nice hair. Well, I have to agree. I couldn't believe. We all have some morals. Even if we lose, we have to say, okay, well, the people made their choice. Can you not at least respect that?
No, I mean, they're not.
To respect you when you don't have no respect for yourself or for the company or for the people that actually been supporting you. And then I don't understand. The same people, they still get up and cuss you for these people. Like, how do they do that? I mean, I can't understand that. It's like we want leaders. Even if you wasn't with TCCP, with Andre, when he done his speech, you would have to give him some respect.
Well, apparently, listen to this. Somebody just told me that apparently after his speech, Chris Saunders got up and left. So I don't know if he was offended by his speech or he really had somewhere to go so important all of a sudden. But they're sore losers. And I think that really, that's the bottom line. They're sore losers.
But then, being a sore loser is one thing. But if you really care about your people and your country, because this is what they say they're fighting for, then you would just put it aside and say, okay, let us work with them. And you know, the country will go so much further. They did the same thing the last time, you know, and it shows that it doesn't matter that it was PAC. It just matters that they are not in power.
That's right.
Is what the
That's
problem
right.
is.
Absolutely.
And before they were saying, oh, it was PAC and it was Mr. Panton and it was all of it. Okay, it's turnaround, and you still have the same issue.
Yes.
That means it's you is the problem and not who the people choose. And the last time the problem was the people couldn't function because they fight them right through. The people couldn't get anything done.
Yeah.
Sabrina Law, she said, okay.
And you know what? She was there yesterday. I saw her. Yeah. She looked beautiful, graceful. You know, you can be a graceful loser, but the progressives have not gotten that book. We need to go look that book up on Amazon and loan it to them because they just haven't gotten it. Thank you, my dear.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
She sent out a message to Michael, and you know, people called her and said, okay, the whole 18 ballots that was spoiled were your ballots. Get a lawyer. She said no.
Yeah, we got another caller, but point taken. Thank you so much. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program.
I'm sorry. I got this call coming up on my phone. Must be some mistake.
Oh,
very sorry.
No problem, my dear. Okay. So yeah, sore losers. Doesn't matter who is in power. If it's not them, they got a problem. Let's read some of your comments. Johan, somebody said, why is Johan always playing devil's advocate? I don't know if Johan is playing devil's advocate, but I think, good morning, caller.
Morning.
Good
How
morning.
are you?
Not too bad. How you doing?
Right here. I just wanted to say it's a new dawn in Cayman politics.
Yes.
The people have spoken, and I believe next election you won't even see that many PPM getting in.
Yeah.
I believe the next election cycle is going to be even fewer of them, and especially if these, because we had some good quality candidates running that didn't get in my opinion. And if they stay on the scene and they stay on the ground and they continue to work with this current elected government, watch and see what will happen in the next 4 years.
Yeah, let's hope. Thank you, my dear.
Thank you.
All righty. So yeah, I mean, ultimately, wow. Edwin says Kenneth is not a disgrace. He's just wet behind the ears. And I mentioned it to him before that he's no more than a fry swimming in a pool of sharks and barracudas. Not every smile is genuine, Kenneth. Edwin, I don't think so. Maybe when he first got in, we could have feigned ignorance, but he is politically savvy now. This is his third term in office, and he is probably as politically savvy as they come. He was up under Alden, Kurt Tibbetts, some of the most, interesting political figures in recent times. So I don't think it's because he is just ignorant to what's happening around him. I can't give him this wet behind the ears excuse. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Sandra.
Morning.
The election is over. The fame and glory bit was done yesterday, and now comes what is supposed to be implementing what they've been promising. What I just want to say, is first two points. One, what you've been talking about this foreign the CPA what is it, the observer group?
Yes,
that's suggestion
which getting to them. Yes.
Yeah, I'll be very brief on that because, like you've said, I don't know of a country where you vote in national elections you vote in national elections if you are not a citizen. So I don't know where they get that from. That's totally tone deaf. In fact, I consider that to be totally insulting to local people. But part of the problem is that because successive governments have also not tried to emphasize to the UK government and just to the international community that Cayman is a vulnerable society anyway, you know. Until the government can adopt a policy of trying to say we are an exception because this is a country which has got the local people have become a minority in their country. There are even some things which you do in your countries that we can't do in relation to immigration, in relation to work permits, in relation to elections. Until governments do that, that's not going to happen. And finally, on the second point about the government, people must realize that even this government, before it does what it has promised, you have to force it to do what they have promised, because you can be sure that even this government has got elements, you know, who do not want to effect even these things about immigration reform, just like the other government did. So you have to keep the pressure on, tell the premier, within 6 weeks, we want an announcement on immigration and work permits, and within 6 months, we want legislation which says ABC. Don't sit on your laurels and allow them to tell you we will do it in a year or 2 years, because there are some other pressures there. Like Johan loves to say, there are people who have already put their labels, their brands for what they have paid to force them to do something else. I thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. I mean, yeah, for sure. That part of Johan's commentary is acceptable. On the other hand, the bit about, giving people a break because they're your mama, when you get into politics, I have to wonder, are you guys not having conversations with your mama, your papa, and cousins and whatever? There's a certain point when you have to just learn to ignore a lot of it. You know, the MPs are there, and I think they are able to defend themselves. But what you have going on here, and I'm going to show you an example of this, is her trolling people in the comment section. And it's not that anyone is directly talking about her son. So somebody makes a comment about the progressives, all of a sudden she finds it necessary to respond back. And I think that that's a problem for her. And, you know, if Kenneth is listening this morning, I do believe that he needs to speak to his mom. This is what she was replying to Abby. Abby says, what a glorious sight to see PPM over there. That's all Abby said. And then Donna has to respond, birds sing soon in the morning. Cat eat them before night. And this isn't a one-off. This is like every day she's in the comment section. Relax, Miss Donna. I soon come and interview you for Cayman Voices. Okay? Give you something else to do. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Sandy.
Morning, dear. How are you?
I am elated because yesterday was a historical day. But it never ceases to amaze me of how the PPM do not get the understanding that they are not, I emphasize, not wanted by the populace or the majority of the Caymanian people to lead this country ever again. And those slippery snakes, they try to meander their way yesterday. But listen, God is in control. They must understand that the damages that they have done in the past will never let them be re-elected as the governing administration of this country.
All right.
So, thank you.
Yes, indeed. He says never. They're done. My goodness. What a hot mess. Oliver, good morning. Season for what? Frying pan, says Jonathan. Lots of comments coming in. Aisle 2025 says you can tell that PPM is going to be disruptive over the next 4 years. Let's hope not, but I don't have much hope for them, to be honest. Wanda says the PPM are so very arrogant. You know, I think they need to listen to people. This is my thing. They're not listening. The people that they listen to are their core supporters. They need to listen to a wider audience, and that simply is not happening. And if they continue with that attitude, the 700 plus people that are here this morning, you guys are going to continue to keep them on the back bench. So they're winning. They're primarily their Georgetown, which is where they're strong. They're winning those seats. You know, they'll pick up Dwayne and Julie, and eventually somebody's going to, you know, take them out politically. And they're going to just continue to weaken and weaken and weaken. The things that they need to do, the level of engagement that they need to have with the public to try to rebuild trust, if that's possible, they're simply not doing. And then they pull a stunt like yesterday and they lose even more respect. Mirsar says that entire party is the definition of bitterness. I hope the world saw their true colors and how power hungry they are and full of greed. Disgusting little snakes. Marshall says the PPM is fighting to the bitter end to try and get something. The people have voted and don't want the PPM. Get over it and move onto the back bench. Abby says it was giving sore loser, yes, but it seems that when a party doesn't have the majority, it's a last-ditch attempt or last-ditch effort, as not forcing a vote through that controversial nomination would automatically concede their party to the opposition side. Well, this is the weird thing about it, Abby, because didn't they concede already? Didn't Joey issue a press statement where he said, oh, this is a marriage of convenience, but we concede that, you know, they formed the government before us? Even that statement calling it a marriage of convenience, like I said yesterday, it's always a marriage of convenience when somebody else is doing it. But when you're doing it, what is it? A legitimate marriage? You guys are really in love? You didn't have the numbers on your own to form a government, so you would have had to work with some of these same people to try to form a government. Andre explained it at Saturday's meeting, how quickly they were organized and how quickly they moved to get to the governors. Kudos for them. In less than 24 hours, they had the government formed. Kenneth Bryan in the house. Kenneth, I thought you forgot my phone number, honey child.
I tried to, but it didn't work.
Oh, Kenneth. What do you mean you tried to? You didn't promise?
I tried to.
You tried to forget my number?
Yes, I did.
But you promised that you were coming during the election, and all now. This is the first time I'm hearing from you, so welcome back.
Thanks a lot. And good morning to you.
Yes, good morning, Kenneth. You know, it's not that we don't hate you, you know, Kenneth. We just wondering sometimes what you're doing.
Sometimes in life, you know, you're not going to get everybody to love you, but that's okay. I understand that. That's part of representation.
It's not about love. So let's you and I have a coming to Jesus moment. I'm so glad you called
me. I called you, Sandra. You're not going to take over my little call.
Okay. It's toll free. Are you at Flow?
Sandra.
It's toll free. You don't have to pay for it, Kenneth. It's fine. Okay. But all right. I'm not going to take over. Say what you want to say, honey Jill.
Morning.
Yes,
I know I get a couple licks this morning. That's okay. I'm comfortable with that. I checked the messages. I wasn't listening to your show, but I was going to call you yesterday anyway.
Oh.
Because I want to change the narrative for a little bit. There's something that always concerns me every election that I want the country to think about, and I want our society to think about.
Okay.
And that is for all those other amazing candidates who ran for office that didn't win, that still needs to survive. They got families, they put careers on hold, and some left their careers. And I think about even one of the persons who ran against me, Anthony Ramon, an amazing person. Worked at SEMA, was doing a great job, and no longer has a job now. And I think about Dean Sterling. I think about Donna Bush. I think about a number of candidates out there, Carmen Macfield. I mean, I'm hoping that we start to change our narratives as a country, as a civil service, that if we're not willing to allow persons to, temporarily leave a post with security of being able to go back, we're never going to really have a lot of people willing to run for office because they have to take care of themselves and their families. Mm-hmm. And I'm wondering if as a country, and I would like people's opinions about this, because I think Anthony should be able to get his job back at SEMA. I think Dwayne Sterling should be able to get his job back at Radio Cayman. I think Sabrina Turner should. I mean, I hope the government is going to take care of her, because regardless of the differences, these are strong Caymanians that we disagree on policies, and we campaign for people's votes to believe in us. But they're Caymanians, and they got families, and they got bills, they got to live. And politics in Cayman is really, really harsh. And once you lose, we as a society, we forget our own people. And it's a very noble thing to run for office. And other jurisdictions don't do that. That's one thing we haven't matured with. In other jurisdictions, once you run for office, you're sought after, and the business community doesn't, have malice. Because sometimes what I've heard is that people are afraid to take on these people with the skill sets that they have, the various different skill sets, because fear that the current government, or whichever government is in, not this particular one I'm talking about, but any government, from the last one to the previous ones to this one, will not see favor with that company or that business to hire them. And I think we got to be more mature than that, because it sends the wrong signal to people who may want to run for office. I mean, besides the scrutiny that you have to go through throughout the campaign, then you have to be worried about whether you'll get a job again afterwards. I'm really worried about those things, and I'm really concerned for those persons and their families. The island is too small for that. So I don't know what your thoughts are, but I really do think
I actually have a thought. It's not related to what you're talking about, though.
All right, let's hear it.
So I was sitting here listening to you, and CMR TV is coming on board very, very soon. And I couldn't help but think that maybe you should talk to me about getting your own show on CMR TV.
No, Sandra, come on, that's unfair. You beat me to pieces throughout the campaign. For what reason, I don't know. Even though I advertised it to you, and
you saw how out of left field that was. You're like, what the what is Sandy even talking about here? Your comment, this is where you can't read the room, right? Because that was an example of me not reading the room, but I did it on purpose.
Okay.
You commenting about these people and their job situation was you not reading the room. We wanted to talk to you, but we didn't want to talk to you about that. You get me?
Yeah, but I okay.
I mean, I hear you saying that this is your toll-free call. I get it. But I'm just saying,
but I mean,
that's not what people want to hear about right now from you.
Okay, well, I hear you, but I think that it's not only you to dictate what the people talk about.
I'm not dictating. I'm telling you, I'm getting all kind of comments. People are saying, come off my radio, because that's not what they want to hear from you. Yes, I'm helping you to read the room.
Okay, well, I can't tell what your callers want. I think it was something
Kenneth,
more
have
positive.
you lost touch with your people that badly? Come on now.
No, I think 750 votes showed that I didn't lose touch.
Well, you drinking that Kool-Aid from PPM, honey chill.
Okay. All right, well, I was trying to turn it into something positive.
All right, well, we appreciate it, but Liana says bye. No one cares. And I think, unfortunately, we can have that discussion. Believe me, it's not that it is irrelevant completely, but I think in the context of today's discussion about what happened yesterday, it seems
what I didn't hear what happened yesterday, or what you're talking
you weren't
about.
Listening to the show at all?
No, I wasn't.
Oh, well, that's why you're tone deaf then. Can we talk about what happened yesterday?
Sure.
You nominated Joey Hugh as premier. Can we ask why? Did you think that you were going to muster up enough votes to put him in, or you just did it just because?
No, it's a signal of solidarity to show that we're together.
Okay.
And it's also an opportunity that if those over there who weren't sure that they wanted to make the decision that they made, they could change their mind. I mean, you're not the premier until that vote happens.
Mm-hmm.
And this goes back a little bit to the, education of how the system works. A lot of people thought that they were automatically the government once the letter is done to the governor.
Mm-hmm.
The letter to the governor is an indication for the civil service to prepare Parliament.
Mm-hmm.
The Constitution mandates that there has to be a vote. Because the only way you can become automatically the premier of the country is if you have a registered party and you are the registered leader of the party with the majority, and it has to be 10. So because that didn't happen, obviously our system allows coalitions, but the coalition can only be ratified by a vote in parliament. So though we knew, and most people who have been through this process before understood that there's a 99.9999% chance that they will all stay together and vote for who they say they wrote the letter to the governor with. But until that vote is done, you have to do it through that process. So, for example, I know it was probably a little bit nerve-wracking yesterday for everybody because there could have been a possibility of a member or two changing their mind.
So you were riding in that 1% then? That 1% was your hope?
No, we didn't think there was going to be a high chance of that. But what
1% isn't a high chance. But you said 99% they're going to stick with who they agreed. So that means that there's 1% chance that you could have gotten people to...
No, I think you're focusing only on that part. I also said, the first thing I said, it was showing a signal of solidarity that we are together on the opposite side and showing that we support our leader. Simply put, right? Now, if somebody were to change, then, then we deal with the consequences of that outcome. But how do you send a signal to the public about our that we're unified in our approach? So that's pretty much it. Nothing more to it than that. Some people may interpret it a different way.
So it's solidarity to the party and the party leader, basically.
Yes, basically, yes.
Can we get, you're the deputy leader of the Progressives, and I know you promised at the beginning of the election that you were going to get them on here. You weren't able to fulfill that promise. I'm sure it was a tough battle. But let me ask you a question. Can you guarantee, as much as any politician can guarantee, which, we don't really take much of your word, but I'm just saying, can you share with the people of the Cayman Islands what the position of the opposition is going to be? Are you guys going to be that thorn in our side and thorn in the side of everybody in this country for the next 4 years, like what they did last time, constantly tearing the government apart? Is that what we're going to get from the Progressives again this term? Or are we going to get a real opposition that's focused?
If you ask me, I don't think the opposition was a thorn in the government side at all. Actually, I think they were quite lenient.
Once UPM took over, they were lenient. I'm talking about before that. They were constantly working on trying to disband the government and get back in power. Once UPM was in, they were back in power, so that was fine. But you didn't think when you were part of PAC government, you didn't know all of the dealings and how they were trying to tear the government apart so that they could take back over?
No, not at all. Actually, I commented quite often about how lenient they were. They were quite professional. And I tell you what, me as an opposition member now, if you want my answers, I'm going to give you my answers.
Yeah, I want your answers.
Okay. So you can set your tune.
Yeah,
I'm going to tell you what I'm
just surprised. Right? That's all I'm saying. I'm surprised that you say that because anyhow, go ahead, sir.
Okay. So I think they were quite lenient. An opposition isn't there to agree with everything you say. They're there to hold you accountable. And I think that the Progressives were quite lenient, particularly for the first year and a half. And I commented very often. I said, "Then this is weird. This is not what I came from when I was in opposition. When I first became a member of Parliament, there is a role for the opposition, and it's a very important role." Because you may see it as a thorn in the government's side, but it is about accountability. It's scrutinizing their decisions all the time. You also commented on the fact that they seem to be rather lenient at the end when the last government was in. I think at that point people were just waiting for the election rather than, seeming to want to take down what would be considered a minority government.
Well, they passed Julie's budget and her overspending on that school and other projects, and then talking about, you mean
the one that Andre was the deputy premier for, and that he helped support that budget?
Yeah, okay. Absolutely. Yeah. And I think they should have resigned from then, but they didn't have the balls. They grew a little gonads later on, So yeah,
it's a matter of interpretation,
let's call a spade a spade.
I mean, it's a matter of interpretation. You may feel that way, and some of your viewers may feel that way, but maybe not everybody else feels that way. And that's fine.
Yeah.
That's what democracy is. Not everybody's going to agree. Like in my constituency, I got 750 who believed in me and 346 believed in the other two. So you're never going to get it 100%, right? That's what democracy is. It's the majority. So I respect that. I respect different views. But, you know, the opposition is going to have a serious role. There's a lot of commitments from a number of different sides there. We got two different parties. You're going to have to cross-section and see what the different views were on the different things, from immigration to the environment, to employment, healthcare opportunities. So we have a serious role to say, okay, then how are you going to figure this out amongst yourselves and hold them accountable to you know, what we think is the best bet for the people? If you just sit there and just, I mean, people will say the other thing, oh, you're sitting in opposition, you're just collecting a check doing nothing. But then if you do something, then they're going to say, oh, well, you're just doing it just because. So, I mean, you're not going to please everybody, Sandra. You know that.
Okay,
so
let me ask you
let
me ask you a few questions here in relation to vote buying in the election, right? So there's a lot of rumors about, and some people have confirmed that they're individuals buying votes. Did you, let's not call it vote buying for a second here, but did you by any chance give any money once the campaign season officially started? Did you buy anybody refrigerators or?
Sandra, seriously, you're going to ask me if I bought anybody in the last
let's
campaign.
not call
come
it
on.
vote buying. Let's call it you're helping your constituents. Once
I help my
nomination day
constituents every single day. Every single day.
So you were doing it after the nomination day period?
I help my people every single day. I don't care when it is, whether it's during the election or not. If my people need help and I can help them, I will help them. Now, I don't know if you know the elections law. The election law simply says if there is any assistance for the intent of a vote. And I can promise you this, nobody will ever say to you that Kenneth Bryan gave me this to vote for him. So let's not play the games, right? Because these issues are serious. The people go through a lot of things. The Kimanian people are suffering every single day. Many people don't have food in their fridge, Sandra. So let's not do that this morning.
So that is continuing. I'm just saying that position will be continuing even now. So people can call you today and in the coming weeks and months and the next 4 years as you sit on the back
my
bench.
job. My job is to be there for my people. Okay. And if they need help, whether it's applying to NAU for assistance, applying for a job, advice in their career, references, job applications, whatever it is, that's my job. That's what they hired me for. And they hired me to go into Parliament, hold the government accountable, create policies, suggest motions, ask questions. That's the job. That's what you get paid to do, Sandra.
So you're saying that in your opinion, there was nobody, you're saying you didn't do it, but you think there's nobody out there vote buying?
I'm not answering that question. You're not going to tie me up. I'm sorry. I apologize. No disrespect to you and your question, but I'm not going to get caught up in who did what. I'm responsible for Georgetown Central, and me and my people work together. That's simply put.
You're also a legislator. So if you think that this is something that is happening quite widely, you're also responsible for changing the elections law or making the relevant suggestions and getting it done. So
you said that. You said it was happening widely. I never brought it up.
No, but I'm asking you and you're refusing to answer the question. So if it's not happening and you don't believe it's happening, then you say, no, there's no need for change in that regard. I don't think it's happening. But you're saying you're not going to answer the question.
I don't know about any other constituency, but you can happily ask the Premier, Andre E. Banks, if he thinks it happened in his team. I don't know. I can only be responsible for Georgetown.
I'm not talking about your specific team even. I'm just saying, generally speaking, do you think this is an issue that needs legislative reform? Do you think vote buying happens?
I don't know. I've never seen it happen in my constituency or anybody else's constituency. So I can't speak to that.
Okay. I mean, you can only speak to what you can speak to. So, right. Well, can we now be expecting to hear from you more often?
I don't know. I don't think you've been fair. I'll be honest with you, Sandra. I love you very much. You're a Kimanian. I love every one of my people. But I think you haven't been fair. You know, you've been very selective. And I had a lot of challenges internally because you know that we talked before the election about fairness and opportunity. and I don't think you were fair.
Well,
I called in this morning.
People said that they didn't want to come on because they didn't want to hurt Barbara's feelings.
No.
You paid to come on and you still didn't come on.
Yeah, because you still weren't fair.
No,
you
but
still
listen,
weren't fair. I mean,
Kenneth, let's you and I have a coming to Jesus moment now, right? Nomination day, you and I spoke, and I'm like, Kenneth, are you coming on today? Because everybody was going around to all the different, and the candidates who were advertising, they got preference to come on and, show their nomination process. You had paid your good hard-earned money. And I called you and I said, are you coming on? And you said, yeah. And then you didn't come on. And when we spoke later on, you were offended by a picture where you were not in the front of the photo. And I'm like, that was my designer. I don't tell him what order to put people in. Wow. So there was no reason why you couldn't have come on. I mean,
Sandra, our contract stated that you were supposed to do exposure for, broadcast and so forth. I tagged him and Mario and many of them, and you didn't accept any one of them.
What do you mean you tagged me? I'm not even managing my social media. You as an advertiser needed to reach out to me. And as we always have in the past, we work out a plan of the things that you wanted to get done. What do you mean you tagged me? I never heard anything about any tags. Tag me where?
Well, check your team then, because I don't know if they know the contact we agreed to.
No, Kenneth. So you're not going to talk to me at all. You're not going to talk to me at all during the election after nomination day. And you think tagging me is how you get your contract?
No. 3 days after that conversation about coming on the show.
So
part of the contract. I don't think this is necessary conversation for the public.
I'm just
but
saying,
if
you could have WhatsApped me. You could have called me like every other candidate did to say, okay, I'm having this meeting. I need this. I need that.
We did speak.
No,
but
sir.
Simply put, it boils down to.
And I spoke to you since nomination day, not Kenneth.
No, we spoke. We spoke after nomination day.
Like the day after.
Check your phone records. But that's besides the point. I don't think that this is necessary to go over that.
I'm just saying that you can't say that I wasn't fair to you if you weren't even communicating with me.
You weren't, Sandra. And that's my viewpoint, and that's fine. You don't have to agree with it. But I made a conscious decision
if it's not
that you weren't going to be fair about it.
It's not factually accurate. That's all I'm saying. We're disagreeing about the facts right now.
Okay, so let's not dwell on that one, all right?
All right.
But the part I did call
I'm a person
for,
that likes to move on, honey child. So I'm glad that you called this morning. That means that you're thinking about us. And certainly we were thinking and talking about you. So,
well, I'm going to be calling the Radio Cayman as well, because the topic I called in for is really important to me. Regardless of what your conversation is, I genuinely, with my heart, and I hope that you would at least talk about it, because it's important. At some
point. Like I said, it just wasn't a conversation for today.
But it's something important, though. Do you agree?
Yes. I mean, you've got 34 people over at Radio Cayman that I'm sure are dying to hear from you. But the 875 plus 32 on Instagram enjoyed hearing from you this morning. We got it. And we'll hear from you again. I'm sure of that.
Okay. Yes. All right. Well, you take care, and hopefully you do talk about the subject I just brought up. All right.
Absolutely.
And God bless your listeners and your viewers. All right. Take care.
I appreciate it. All right, Kenneth Bryan is back. Blissful says, wow, he can call in now. Hurtful. He's back. Yeah, he can't help it. It's like what is it? That symbiotic relationship I was telling you all about earlier? Well, I don't know if it's symbiotic, but anyway, it's a parasite. He loves to call and loves to hate us. Everybody's like, bye. Oh my God, you guys are so rude. Where are your manners? Y'all are like rude. There was vote buying. And the fact that any elected official can say that they don't know about vote buying. All right. Well, we know about it. Granny in Boddentown West got $500. Other people got $1,000. I wonder how you decide who gets the 500 and who gets 1,000. I mean, I thought that would have been a going rate, but you see, they value you less when you're old, apparently, when you're making them buy your vote. Can you ask Kenneth if he regrets joining the PPM? He's already gone. But Edwin, he's not going to say that. He's deputy leader of the losers right now, so he can't say that he's going to regret that. They would kick him out so fast. Somebody said, I'm sure they were just showing solidarity. I wasn't surprised. So to Kenneth's point, somebody said solidarity to who? And he said the party. This other person says, Kenneth aligned himself with the PPM to push the cruise port agenda. This is the only party fully supporting it. Another person says, good morning. Regarding Mr. Bryan's move, at least it's clear to opposition that all 13 MPs voted for the Honourable Premier Ebanks. Will you be covering any parliamentary sessions in the future, including today? We normally cover some, and we certainly cover them in terms of news stories. So y'all got to read now. But are they in Parliament today? When did they reconvene? I thought they were taking a little break. Oh, sorry, we said that one already. I thought they were in a little break. I'll double check. It's so nice to see Julie sitting in the very back row of the opposition. She must be feeling out of place without her cars and drivers, and will have to live without all of her frills and trips for at least the next 4 years. Hopefully this term will be the last we will see of her. Pleasant good morning, angels. I liked what my premier stressed, though. None of this animosity, etc. I think Andre will stand up to them when he has to. They just showed how desperate and hurt they are. You see, that's what I was saying about reading the room. Like, that's what y'all wanted to hear. You didn't want to hear that, oh, now people might not have a job. And I am going to address that because, to be fair to Kenneth, he brings up something. It just wasn't what was on anybody's mind today. We have a lot of other things in our mind today, and he can't read the room, but he claims that he wasn't listening to the show. Do I believe that? No. Another person says Kenneth didn't do that as a last move. If you watch the video, he was laughing, skidding his teeth, and the PPM team were chatting back and forth. Kenneth was also watching Ralston, Jay, Nicholas, and Isaac, and he immediately went in his phone and was WhatsApping, presumably them. Maybe PPM had reached out prior and they promised to vote for Joey. Look at Perlina as well. She was watching them and whispering with Kenneth. Ralston refused to have any contact and was laid back, all chill. During the vote, Ralston had everyone in check and asked to see who the coalition voted for. When the final results came in, Nicholas was the only one looking at Kenneth and laughing. But we don't know why he was looking at him and laughing, to be fair. That nasty brown tooth smile was wiped off of let me skip to the next sentence. He seemed so serious after that and was staring them down at one point. He turned and hid his face with his hand. The independents pulled a fast one on PPM. I don't know if any of those things meant anything other than, they were all having a good laugh because they were like, y'all are not going to pull this off. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Sandy. Nice show. And the air is so light that I can breathe again. I'm not in a container like when the last government was on. Sandy, when you're a loser and don't want to take responsibility, that is the biggest lie that you can tell. Kenneth got to face the music. The PPM got to face the music. They lost the government through their action. I wonder what Julie's thinking of herself today. If she had done the right thing, she would have been with the government. But
I don't think she cares, because remember now, she's the same person who allegedly went as far as saying to the people in Cayman Brac that she was not going to pay them. These are the road workers, that she was not going to pay them any money until the new government got in. So I don't know who does that. To me, that's like,
to me, that was wrong. Mm-hmm. And she's always tearing down the church door to get in, and she probably can't wait to get out. Mm-hmm. Because she's already impressed her flock. But the thing about it is that she has. I've been trying to figure out, Julie, why is it she is so deceptive to the people of Cayman Brac, and they still voted her in? They got to be brainwashed. And for her to say that she is not signing off on what somebody have done, the work that they have done, and they need to feed their families, how can she live with herself? You know, and in a way, you know, thank God we got a new government. They may not be any better than this previous governments, but we'll have to wait. We can't criticize them yet because this is their first day on the job. But I got a feeling that they will do a good job. I wouldn't want to be in their position trying to straighten up the wrong that the PPM and the UPT or whatever they were it did to the people of the country. You know, it's so sad. But anyway, you keep on fighting and don't ever turn to be a politician because we need you more than we need a politician.
Thank you so much.
Sandra, God bless.
Yes, thank you. So I've gotten confirmation they reconvened today. I heard them announce a date, but to be honest, I couldn't hear it. So thank you guys for confirming that for me. So unfortunately, Kenneth's comments this morning not landing you know, on anyone's ear in a positive way. Again, sometimes you got to read the room. This is what you guys have to say after hearing him. A lot of you would tell me to hang up. Why is he on the call? This person said, is he trying to do damage control? Huh? I lost. Sandy, your office must be real hot. Kenneth, have a show. Laughing out loud. Where he go is a show. PPM is Progressive Prowlers of Mischief. Ooh, that's a new one. Kenneth, shut up. He just can't stand alone. Simple and plain. He is right. Hand of the opposition. He's playing his part to a T. Fake. Kenneth is a seasoned BSer. Not 9:30 yet. No, you haven't agreed with everything he says, and don't hide his BS. This proves why Caymanians are over PPM. Kenneth equals, what is this? Circumlocution? You give me a big word here this morning. Whenever you have to ask him straightforward questions. Oh, yes, not answering the question, circumventing it. What a hot mess. Good morning, Carla.
Good morning, honey child. How are you?
Good morning. Boy, you had on your fancy frocks yesterday. I see you all dressed up.
And honey child, it wasn't bought with no wood buying money neither.
Aye.
Can
I just say that my Caymanian people, look at this one. You guys looked beautiful yesterday, and there's something about this teal color. Putting all politics aside, it's a color that I actually do love. It is beautiful. Isn't it beautiful? Oh my gosh. But anyway, honey child, everybody looks so pretty, including yourself.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. But I wanted to just mention, honey child, all the drunkards, the alcohol, the drug users that always run the place looking trashy. Oh my gosh, they were dressed to the 99. They were dressed to the 99 and came into polling station with a piece of paper written the who they're supposed to vote for on that piece of paper. I mean, this is who I'm voting for. You understand? It's a crying shame. And then what I'm saying is that they're walking about this place with their head held high with dignity and knowing that the public knows what transpired, what they had, not what they needed to, what they had to do or resort to win this election. You hear what I'm telling you? Windsor Park, Georgetown Central, Georgetown North. It is a crying shame. I mean, people is approaching me and saying that they were approached and paid. People were approached to be paid off to vote for these people. I personally had experienced people come up to me, and I can call the location. I went out by 7-Eleven under the trio, the great trio. They were all of those guys hang out, and I was there talking with them. And everybody agreed with everything I had to say. Romelia, we really need a change. I said, we'll make that change at the polls. After I walk off and went to another, I'm down by the the liquor store. One of the guys from that said group here that came and he said, Miss Romelia, what you're saying is true. I see what you do in the community and I see that you have the people at heart. But even though all of them under that tree is agreeing with you, the PPM just left you paying them off. That's what the young man said to me. He said, every last one, I'm just receiving money from PPM to vote from. You understand? You child, it is disheartening. It is disgusting. And that shows fair. That is nothing but fair. Because then if they wasn't fairful, they would have ran a clean election. If they had confidence within themselves, they would have just do the right thing and get in being doing the right way. You understand? But fair ran straight through them, including Joey Hugh was fearful. You understand? Because when he went on that West Bay Road stretch and he learned that people were voting for Romelia, I strongly feel that that's where the fear slapped him and that's where the funds start to run. Strongly believe it.
I mean, trust me, he didn't even have up a sign before you declared a nomination day. So I mean, I think that says a lot.
Comfy. He was so comfy.
Yes.
He felt that nobody was going to take him on.
Right.
But his bubbles got burst. And let me tell you, I never see as much signs up when Johan was running against him. But oh, honey child, every way you turn, you were seeing stuff.
Yeah. Wow.
You were seeing signs.
Yeah.
It is, oh my gosh, how can people live with themselves? How can they sleep at night knowing that they're not doing the right thing for their people, knowing that they're going up there and they're swearing with the Bible, the Holy Bible. They are being sworn in on and selling out our country left, right, and
we saw Julie she wouldn't swear in the Bible. I guess she might have been afraid the good Lord might have sent a lightning bolt her way. But anyway.
Oh, Lord. I mean, it is so sad. And another thing, what I want to say to Kenneth, look at his first time that he ran. Look at his numbers. The people were so happy and pleased with him. Look at his numbers compared to this election. That alone should tell him something.
Yeah.
That alone should tell him the people he has lost the people's respect.
Yeah.
Why? My grandmother would normally say the higher monkey climb, the more he exposed his buttocks and the harder he falls. You understand? And not all the time the money spending gonna get them in there. That position should be for people who have the people at heart, people who cares about their country and is willing and driven to get things done for their country. Thank you.
Thank you, my dear. I certainly appreciate it. Yes, I mean, ultimately, Kenneth says, you know, he doesn't want to answer the question about vote buying, which I thought was kind of weird. He says he didn't do it. He doesn't know anything about it happening at Georgetown Central because he's helping people all the time. And I'm surprised that he wouldn't answer the question. Good morning, caller.
Good morning.
What a mess. Hello. How are you?
You know, I cannot believe that you are here creating Christ so early this morning.
Say what?
after we just had such a beautiful swearing in.
Early to bed, early to rise. You got to get to work.
You should be giving up balloons. But listen to me. Before I say anything else, I just heard Romelia say something about the monkey. Well, I want to share one, and this one has copyright. So
okay.
Monkey must know what he's going to do with his tail before he goes and order pants. Okay?
Oh.
Do I need to repeat that?
No, I think we got it.
Okay.
Yes.
So I kind of think, you know, where that is coming from and where it's intended. And well, I'm not going to make a correction, but I guess it is a correction, but I wrote the comment, but I think she missed it. And this is in no way bashing Kenneth. I want to make that clear. But, you know, the first time that he ran, I'm not speaking about his very first time. I mean, 2017. The split then was only by 30 votes. Where he gained a lot of numbers was in 2021.
Right.
Remember the very first time
and of course, that in part had to do with who he was running against.
Yeah, and I don't want to go there. I'm
yes, well.
just to keep it factual, you know.
Well, that's a fact
and,
too.
Yeah.
He didn't have a real opponent that time.
Yeah, well, again, don't want to make it come across as if I'm being derogatory to anyone, because I wouldn't do that.
No, but
you know,
why is it, Miss Brenda? Why is it that the truth is so offensive these days? I mean, he wasn't any real competition. Let's just call a spade a spade.
Well, okay, the numbers showed that.
Yes.
But I don't have to
you don't want to say what the numbers showed.
Well, I didn't have to say it. He wasn't, you know, a candidate this go round, and you know, what I tell you, I wish is that some people would get the message and stop doing it.
Yeah,
that much I could say.
Okay,
I don't care how much you lost.
You go, girl.
You know, that's how much I will say.
Yes, all right. Come on through with some truth telling.
Yeah, but what I wanted to ask, because I missed this part, I only heard his voice. I wanted to ask, because I kind of saw comments saying answer the question. I'm speaking about, well, I guess he's not Minister Brian anymore, but I would still be respectful. Mr. Brian, what was the question that was posed to him that people felt he wasn't answering?
I think it might have been the one I asked about vote buying. If he believes that vote buying happens, and he basically said he couldn't answer. He wasn't going to answer it.
Okay, I thought it was about why did he decide to go over there and run with them rather than staying independent?
No. We did a whole show on that, honey chill. A whole show.
No, I thought that was the question.
Oh, okay. No.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Thank you so much.
And for those who may not know this, you know, we have D-Day coming up, and I know that a lot of people wouldn't even know what that means, but I know you have a smartphone, so please Google it. And that's V as in Victor, Day as in the day minus the toe. So look it up. You know, some people like Sandra and I, we weren't born back then. But the reason that we are here is because of the sacrifices they made. So please let us pay reverence to them and give them the respect due.
Absolutely.
And on a personal note, my paternal grandfather was a merchant marine.
Oh, wow.
And he was torpedoed by a German, what do you call them, warship.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes. And he and 5 others, one being a Caymanian, believe it or not, were adrift for 48 hours. And then they were rescued and taken to England. And they were there for like a year before, I guess they waited till the war was over. And you can read about this. The German captain of that boat, before he died, he wrote a long letter apologizing to everyone in his path, you know, that he was ordered to. Although they shouldn't have bombed the boat my grandfather was on, because it wasn't a warship, it was a merchant ship. But anyway, but he said, you know, that he was following orders. It wasn't what he wanted to do, but he was apologizing, and he did that before he died.
Wow.
Now it's written in German, of course, so you have to have it translated.
Yes.
And this can be read about. There are books on it. It's called the U bombs. Because I have several books on it also. It's just escaping me now. But anyway, it affected all of us, not just Europe, the Caribbean. You know, we had Caymanians actually go and sign up to fight that in that war. So it affects all of us. So please let us remember them. Okay.
Thank you so much, my dear. I appreciate it.
Okay.
All right. So yes, these things are very, very important as well. So beautiful pictures. And let me show you some more of our beautiful Caymanian people. Everybody looks so nice. Look at this. Gorgeous. That teal looks good on people. Yes, absolutely nice. Look at that. Look at Robert. Hey, Mr. Robert. How you doing, honey child? Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Ooh, this one I love. I need to figure out where you guys get your fascinators from. Who sells those on Island? I need a good one. Love, love, love it. Absolutely gorgeous. Look at this. Wow. Now that is true happiness. That is a good, I don't know what they were laughing about, but they were having a good laugh there. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Wow, I got to send that to Matt. I don't know if he saw that or not, but check yourself out. You finally made it. And CMR, honey child, looking bright and nice. Look at that. Look at Mr. Wayne Panton. Stephanie. Love it, love it. She's got a nice gold and black fascinator. Yes. Beautiful. Look, oh my goodness. Look at this one. Miss Heather, who did your makeup yesterday? Your makeup looked on point, girl. Let me tell you. Gorgeous. And I love the pearls. There's just something that is so elegant about pearls. Beautiful, beautiful. Here she is with the speaker, another young lady there. Everybody looking absolutely gorgeous. Laura Anderson makes them ... Who's Laura Anderton? Who's that? Like somebody locally that makes them? Oh. Wow. Need to get me some of them. Let me see now. Oh, there's somebody else who sent me pictures yesterday. I'm trying to remember who that was. But yes, you guys looked beautiful. Let me just tell you, you looked absolutely gorgeous. All of you. People definitely dressed up. Johan says, let me see here now. I experienced the very same thing Mr. Amelia is describing regarding vote buying when I ran in 2021. The political machinery is slick and the money flows during the election time and election day. Our people are going to have to really realize that in the long term, it does not help them. So Marshall says, yes, Isaac didn't touch the Bible either. Yes, there are people who don't believe in swearing in the Bible. And I guess Miss Juliana O'Connor Conley happens to be one of those individuals. So, yes, looking good. Blissful Powell says, how I see it, Kenneth knew that he wasn't going to get back in after joining back a party that spit in his face. We, the people, made him independent to go back to more spit. He knew he wasn't going to get back in that way. Hurtful. Jason says Caymanians live for war amongst themselves. What a mess. Not everyone will swear in the Bible. Yes. Notice his swearing. Some people take an affirmation or swear, and you can do that in court as well. Some people see it as sacrilegious or whatever to swear in the Bible. I don't know. Notice his swearing in. He didn't use the word swear. He said affirm. That's right. So people, Christian beliefs don't allow them to swear unnecessarily, and it should be respected. It's weird because most people do it who are Christians. So I don't know. It's just a choice, and everybody has that choice. Don't think it's a big deal. Danelia says there are some people who have their religious beliefs. That's right, and wouldn't hold the Bible and swear. So they give affirmations, and you can do that in court as well. Like when you go to court. They have you before you give testimony swear in the Bible, and you don't have to do that. You can affirm. Salvin says, if the caller, Amelia, has the evidence, the receipt of the PPM was buying votes as a candidate, she should have reported to authorities and stop exposing herself to legal challenges. What legal challenges is she exposing herself to? The problem is, in order for this to be proven, you'd need the person who received the bribe to come forward and make a statement. And how many of you think anybody's going to do that? It ain't going to happen. But here's our poll question. Do you believe that vote buying is an issue during election time? Yes or no? Scan the QR code, or you can put strawpoll.com/vote buying. Go ahead and vote in that one, folks. What do you think? Do you think vote buying is happening, or you think this is a figment of people's imagination and that Granny didn't get $500 in Boddentown West and other neighborhoods didn't get $1,000? Psychologically Beautiful says, I don't want no part. Give me back my beaches. Can't play music because we're disturbing the foreigners. I'm so bitter. Sorry. At how all the entertainment is being catered to the GD people with fat pockets. What is that little thing? It looks like a little piece of paper. I think something was converted. Apparently the park they're building down in Martin Drive, it's what, $10 million already? Now, some of these projects, I'm hoping we can put the kabush. What's the word on that? It's not kabush. What's it called? Whatever that word is, we can stop it. If not entirely, at least in part. Thank you, Miss Janetta. She says Matthew 5:34 is the reason why I believe that both decided not to shred the Bible. Oh my goodness, I'm sorry. That's because I'm sitting. I yawn when I sit because you need the oxygen to flow properly. Yes, $8 to $10 million for a park is definitely insane. That's money that you could use to educate your people. You're talking about helping your people, help them with not overspending their money. And then you have more money in the government coffers where you can do things like help, people in the neighborhood who can't afford to put on a roof. You know how many roofs $8 million could fix? A park for $8 to $10 million. That blows my mind. Mr. Amelia answers to Selvin, says, I stated that I was approached with it. Oh, so there's someone who actually makes these hats? Oh my gosh, how is it? Let me stand up so I can stop yawning. How is it that I did not know this? Wow. I need a couple of those in my closet. Don't get me started, honey child. There'll be like handbags next. I'll be collecting fascinators all over the place. Oh, those are gorgeous. I love them. All right. Saucy Sabrina will be next in the coming elections. Huh? Did you guys see Sabrina's interview? I mean, I know the election is over now, but some of you didn't get to watch the candidate interviews. And I'm thinking I might still play some of them on here because her interview in particular was very, very interesting. Yeah. Maristar says, don't bother entertaining him, Mr. Amelia, because he's just foolish and diehard PPM, even when truth and facts are in front of him. Speaking of Selvin. Wi-Fi says people are boasting at Cowood Beach about the money they got for their vote. I'm never voting again in Boddentown East. I'm 26. Oh, man. Wi-Fi, never say never. Never say never. Better will come. Better will come. And you know what? Mr. Robert didn't do too bad. So Robert, continue to chip away. You got 4 years now for you to get out there and get in the community and really, really get to work. There was a post that Miss Jean Panton put up the other day, and it looks like somebody was trying to come from poor Miss Jean about the garbage there in Boddentown. And she was saying that, she was so disappointed to see there was a wall that had been hit back in January. No one has bothered to repair the wall. And now people are just discarding and throwing down their garbage right then and there. And she said, listen, this is such an eyesore. Why don't the BT East people were celebrating literally right next to it? Why aren't they not showing some pride and clean up? And so some people commented, well, it's not the minister's job to do that. And I thought, well, if a minister sees something like this and they don't do anything about it and they're standing right there partying in the streets and celebrating, I see her point. Y'all always talk about you helping people in your neighborhood, but yet your neighborhood can look like this. Your constituencies look like this. And you don't think, oh, let me just message the DEH and get this mess cleaned up, or have neighborhood cleanups. We literally just had Earth Day, for goodness sake. So John, try and do something for change other than staring at the moon and going to Cotton Club dancing. We'd like to see you do more for your constituents other than just buying their votes. Al says, I wouldn't swear in the Bible or bow to the so-called king. Island Pearl says, I don't get vote buying because if they came my way, I was going to take their money, yes, and still and tell them I was voting for them, yes, and when I go to the poll, I do the opposite. How would they know? Well, they wouldn't know, but they vote by for people who don't have that kind of logical thinking, Island Pearl. So unfortunately, those people are giving them the vote. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's like really weird because, as you rightfully said, only you and God know who you voted for in that booth. And yet these fools will take money and as a result, sell themselves. And I guess that's why people do it, because they know it works. Good morning.
Morning. So this is what I really, really want confirmation on. Is there a way to link your ballot, like a number on the ballot, to you personally, to your name? Because apparently in the past, certain MPs in West Bay West have paid people for their vote and went back and checked and saw the person didn't vote for them and made threats against them.
Nah, they can't know that. So they might just be guessing and playing psychological games.
They just made a guess that person didn't vote for them.
I mean, listen, I guess people might.
There's a number on your ballot. Isn't there not a number on your ballot?
No, but those two are not linked. And Mr. Wesley explained this when he was on the 25th about how that works. The only way that would ever be linked is if there's a court challenge and they then have to pull both pieces and put them back together. And that has not happened. So those people are guessing. And I guess if they guess right and they notice the body language of the people, it's one of those things. And people might hear things, like you might say, yeah, I gotta vote for him. Then you go tell your sister or somebody else, I'm not voting for him.
Right.
And then they talk it, so there's different reasons why somebody can walk up and say, I know you're not voted for me. And they might actually be accurate. Well, they have a 50-50 chance if only one other person's running, right? So of getting it right. So yeah, they like to play those psychological games.
I think you were trying to say too is like they know whose vote to buy, right? Like I've never been approached.
Exactly. Me either. Never. Nope. Nobody ain't bring no $1,000 to me, because even during COVID, when they were trying to see if I needed anything, I was like, nope, because I'm just not that kind of person. I don't take something that I don't need. And I think we should all, we would be a better world if we kind of like operated from that mentality. It was even the other day, some kind person on the show was like, oh, how can we donate money to you? I don't need donations. I do stuff in the community. I feel like I'm very fortunate that I can help other people. So there are people who've come forward and said, I want to help you with the seniors luncheon, and that I'm like, sure, that's no problem. You guys can help with that. But I personally don't need any money from anybody. Right. So, I do try to sometimes have phone cards or things that I just do to help people on my own. And probably 90% of that just comes out of my own pocket. Sometimes people do give me food cards for fosters and stuff like that. And I'll hand those out. But yeah, I don't,
And it's very unfortunate that they know the people that basically these people are so desperate, right? Yeah. They need the money and they know who to target. It's really sad.
Yeah. There you go. Thank you, my dear. All right,
Good
caller.
morning.
We got another caller here. Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
I called last week to make a complaint to you.
Mm-hmm.
You were busy, but you have the time now?
Well, we're in the middle of talking about the election and a few other things. What's the nature of the complaint?
The complaint is because of this guy that work my sister and do not pay her, but she's on another line where she could talk to you.
Okay. Can we have her call in tomorrow, but call a little bit early because the show ends at 9:30. So try to call a little bit earlier in the show. Is that possible?
Early.
Yes, ma'am. We start at 7:30. By 8 o'clock, she can call us if she'd like.
Okay. And then you can call tomorrow. Okay.
All right.
Okay,
So she's here in Cayman working and someone's not paying her.
Yeah, but she was here working and then the guy not paying her and she's gone back now. But he said that this people not give him, don't give him the money. One of the time he said it's approved and he gonna give her the money, and then he say he gonna carry them to court and the court said this and all. No, she don't get her money.
All right. Call me back tomorrow morning around 8 o'clock. We can assist her. All right.
Yes, ma'am.
No problem. All right, my dear. Thanks very much.
Okay.
All right. All right. So we'll help somebody hopefully get their money back tomorrow. What a mess. Okay. A few videos from yesterday I wanted to share with you guys. Some of you have been sending me this one from Mario Rankin. Let's watch.
I think that Kenneth Bryan deserves the little bit of humbling pie that he's right now forcefully eating.
Oh.
Why? Because Kenneth Bryan went from being deputy premier and minister of tourism to now being the new deputy leader of the losers.
Oh, geez.
Well, deputy leader of the opposition losers. So Kenneth, I wonder how that feel.
Oh boy. I thought him and Kenneth were friends. Weren't they big time friends?
When all you had to do was just stay as an independent. Right? And stay true to your ambitions. But no, you didn't do that. You thought the grass was green on the other side. But there's another saying that I'll share with you all. You bird in the cage is better than 10 in the bush. Never let go the bird you got holding in your hand to try to catch the one flying in the sky. Why? Because you might end up with none.
Oh.
I can tell you, Kenneth. I don't know how all of them are gonna fit in that little calawan and go across the aisle called the opposition. But I'm gonna tell you, boy, I don't know. I think you could take leadership now, though, Kenneth. You might be able to get leadership of the losers. I'll go up in that southeast corner where Ezard and Wayne sat for a couple of years and hang out there. So yeah, so Kenneth, I wonder how that feel.
Oh Lord. What a mess. Somebody say go Mario. Woo! What a ting. All right, so here we are. Some more video footage from yesterday.
Joseph X. Hugh.
Yes, this was the vote. This was when they were voting, counting the votes in Parliament yesterday.
Mr. Joseph X. Hugh.
You can hear the audience like, no. Oh my gosh.
Mr. Joseph X. Hugh.
They were counting how many he was getting.
Mr. Andre M. Evites.
So you can hear how people are excited when they call Andre.
Mr. Joseph X. Hugh. Mr. Joseph X. Hugh. Mr. Joseph X. Hugh.
He got a couple. He got 8 votes. PPM and then Chris Andre.
Mr. Andre M. Evites. Mr. Andre M. Evites.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Andre M. Evites.
Well, we know that our people can definitely count up to 11.
Mr. Andre M. Mr. Andre M.
Yes, sir. Tartarian said it had me nervous. Amy said the crowd did not disappoint. Definitely not. Maybe Jill. So,
what happened?
Like I said.
Mr. Andre M.
Yep. The crowd spoke.
Last ballot, Mr. Joseph X. Hughes.
Yep. The crowd did not disappoint. That's for sure. So this is when they actually made the final announcement now. Someone says that count must have been sweet. My goodness. Sweet someone for some. All right.
The results of the secret ballot are Andre Ebanks, 11 votes. Jerry Hughes, 8 votes. I therefore declare Andre Ebanks.
Yes, people were happy. They stood up and they were cheering. Yes, see, they're like, yeah, I told you. We got him. Ay.
Deputy Governor to move a motion to invite the governor.
Here's another one. Yeah, this is when they were coming outside and people got to see them on the outside. Everybody started to get up and cheer. People were very, very happy to see the new government come out. All right, good stuff. Beautiful, beautiful people yesterday. Was quite a sight to behold. Now, somebody sent me this footage from inside. This is from on the TV. Oh, okay. They were showing me Kenneth's expression on his face. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. All right. He'll be fine. He'll be just fine, honey child. Don't forget, vote in the poll. Do you believe that vote buying is an issue during election time? Beulah says, talk about anxiety yesterday. Al Ray says, are they celebrating for Joey losing? Yes, they were happy that he lost. And there are people actually booing Miss Juliana O'Connor-Conley too. Let's keep praying for them. Yeah, they need prayer. That's one thing for sure. They probably need a lot of. Mr. Amelia said it was amazing yesterday when a non-PPM member was called up to be sworn in. The crowd exploded compared to when a PPM member was called up. Can bite the crowd's tongue. This sends a strong message to the PPM. Ms. Brenda says, I love the applause that Gary got. He brought the house down. So yes, a lot of supporters there. And there was a definite difference between the support for the coalition government and the support for the PPM. It was massively different. Ms. Shirley says, I'm so grateful that respect, dignity, and honor will once again be restored to our parliament with the Honorable Speaker, Ezard Miller. No more comedy show and circus will be going on in there. And let me just remind you that Mr. Ezard, when he was in last time, was one of the few people that was trying to hold Mr. Bush accountable and hold the PPM accountable when he assaulted and was convicted of assaulting a woman. And unfortunately, the progressives at the time did absolutely nothing about it. They would rather, hold a new election, an early election, my apologies, as opposed to holding the speaker accountable. So there you have it. So yeah, someone confirmed that the number is 1 on the ballot, but your number is put on the piece that is torn off, which also has the same number, but numbers don't get dropped. They get dropped in another box that is sealed, and only the court can order it be known. So that's right. Only the court can order it be unsealed, and that's never been done. But I suspect people know. So a lot of people were asking, well, how did Perlina get deputy speaker? Well, it is customary, in fact, for after the speaker is appointed, because that's done by the selection of the government. And I'm glad they picked someone outside the House. This is the third speaker now to be selected from outside of the House. It is customary to allow the opposition to have the spoils, so to speak. So normally they give them the deputy. I don't think it's been done any other way, but normally they give them the deputy speaker position. So remember last time it was Barbara. Although I think at some point it was someone in the government as well. But, you know, this coalition government, you didn't hear them objecting. They didn't put anybody forth for deputy. They said, nah, it's good. Let her go ahead and have that. And whenever they take up these additional roles, they get paid more money. So this is something you guys may not know, but it's important to know. So the opposition leader, he gets paid a little bit extra. The deputy opposition leader gets paid extra on top of their regular MP salaries. Speaker, obviously outside the House, but he gets a salary. So Perlina, as deputy speaker, will get a salary. I need to confirm how much extra, but I think it's like maybe $800 or $1,000 extra per month for taking up this additional role. So she gets more money for that. Parliamentary secretaries, if you're parliamentary secretary, you get more money for that and stuff as well. So I'm just going to confirm the numbers because they do get paid more for holding those positions. Yes. All right. Liana says, I thought, oh my gosh, I forgot I had a caller on hold. Oh, geez, I'm peace. Thank goodness this call is toll free, honey child. My apologies. Hello?
Yeah, you don't want
Jeez, I'm peace. I forgot all about you. I'm so sorry, Michelle.
Oh, that's you're talking too much. You don't want to hear me this morning.
I forgot you were there. What's going on?
Well, I guess some people don't want to hear me, but kudos to them. I don't care. I'm like the clock. You know what cares. So, anyway, I want to say is congratulations to Mr. Ezra. I think they picked a good person because to me, he's a good man.
Mm-hmm.
But then, when they're talking about why they give this girl the speaker, well, that goes to show them that our party or the party, not selfish people. At least they give them a little piece of the pie too. They don't want to eat it all. And they're so upset because, like I say, the people have spoken and people need to respect that. And I went out there, but I watched everything. I was switching channel because the CIG TV was giving problem. But I was from that compass and I watched everything. I saw everything. It's like if I walked there, my eyes never miss nothing. I was observing very good. So I don't need nobody to tell me nothing. I started thinking, I was wondering that when I saw the two people now hold the Bible, I said, well, I guess one that professing big time, but I understand what they did, but then still it looked bad that everybody else did it and they never did it, and then especially professing a big so-called Christian. But anyway, let's be that. That's their business. God got to judge them, not me. Each to their right call. But I knew that, and then I didn't have, I chuckled, or my mouth stayed when they get up and nominate Hugh for the premiere. But then I knew that they didn't have, I figured one have to go to the vote because I saw that happening already. 11 is more than 8. By my little mathematician, they show me 11 is more than 8, and I know they didn't have the amount. But just to show how, and then I was watching him, he was very upset. He was sighing, he was swallowing hard, he looked like he was a paw. I watched him good when Andrew was speaking. I said, oh my God, some people are so power hungry, because that's all it was. But anyway, thank God. And I just hope that they don't give no trouble in whatever. And here I go.
Yeah. Thank you so much, my dear. Another caller in the line. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program. Hello.
Morning.
Hi.
The reason a lot of times why they don't want a speaker, deputy speaker from the persons or the government in what you would say in charge is because if you do a vote, a lot of time that person can't vote, so that is taking away one of their vote from that side. So a lot of times they would prefer to have someone from the opposite side, the opposition side, because in case they have to, have a voting section, they don't lose no votes. So a lot of time that's why they don't mind that they're chosen from the opposite side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, folks. So yes, Perlina is the deputy speaker. Someone listening to the program sent me the salary information. So let me just pull this up here now. Thank you guys so much. You guys are star students. So they have deputy premier. This is a salary scale. Ministers, leader of the opposition. One increment for each 4-year term completed as the leader of the opposition earns a C1 scale. Deputy speaker is D1. Increase of 1 increment for each 4-year term completed as deputy speaker. And they also get an allowance of 2.5% of monthly salary each month. And let me show you the other one. Deputy leader of the opposition earns a D1 and then an increase of 1 increment for each year term completed as a deputy leader of the opposition, earns an allowance of 2.5% of monthly salary for serving as deputy leader of the opposition, and then permanent secretaries as well. Those are laid out there. So they get an allowance. So they get D1 and then an increase. And they also get an allowance between $1,000 and $2,000 per month at the discretion of the premier, but shall not earn more than a minister. And then MPs are D1, and they get an increment of each 4-year term completed as an MLA. All right, so that's how it works. They do get paid extra. All right. Yes, I'm sorry to Michelle. What happened is I remembered and discovered I've got a mute button. So those of you who like to call and you be on here making all this noise in the background when you call on the phone, I can now mute you. But what happens is I realize that when I mute people, I often forget they're there. So what did my daughter say yesterday? She says, Mom, she was asking me something. Oh, remember Auntie Mary? Someplace she was trying to remember and I couldn't remember. I don't know where she was talking about. So she said, She said, you know, when you reach 50, you start to forget things. And then when you reach 8, you start to remember things. So I'm going to be remembering more and more things, and you're going to be forgetting more and more things. I said, well, from the mouth of babes, I said, as rudimentary as that is, it's absolutely correct. You know, I'm going to start forgetting things and her memory will only improve. And that's the cycle of life. So I said, well, honey child, you're going to have to help your mom remember things then, right? And she said, don't worry, Mom, I got you. I said, oh, my sweetums. All right. So, Miss Brenda says, don't forget they're all fully pensionable after serving 2 consecutive terms. So there you go. That's it. I think, although we still have 759 plus 26 on Instagram. And that might be a good time to end the show. 9:36. Friday is a big day. We're going to court on Friday. So I will have to be on time on Friday. Yep. I will be, heading out early so that I can make sure I get to court on time. I'll let you guys know the classroom. Give me the classroom. I'll let you guys know the courtroom. And yes, someone said that was a strategic decision to let Perlina take the ministry. If someone in the government is absent and a vote is needed, Perlina on the chair wouldn't be able to vote. Since the speaker only votes in the case of a tie, the government will need every vote it can get. Hope it humbles her. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Sandra. This
morning,
is your caller. You know who it is. I want to read a letter this morning that a 9-year-old from our public school has written. And it's got me very, very, very tuned in to know that they know what's happening. But before I read that letter, I'm going to touch on the subject briefly I touched on yesterday. The Royal Cayman Islands Police Force still does not have a presence on this roadway that I lost my life on and came back on Sunday. I videoed the proceedings yesterday and I watched very carefully at our Commissioner of Police. This I will say to him: you can get out when we do prime and proper, glamour and glitz to get in videos and photographs. I watched you walk out the House of Parliament, and you went to the right and you sat down to watch the rest of the proceedings. But I'm going to say this to you one last time. I, a citizen of this country, I'm still awaiting your call that you need to make to me to address the speeding issues in my district called West Bay. Because Mr. Kurt Walton, you are not above the law and neither are one of your officers. So return the call that you need to return to a citizen of this country that is very concerned and angry right now. So do your part as my commissioner of police and return a call to me. I have made a report. I want some action on it.
Okay.
I will leave Mr. Commissioner there and I'll start this letter. It's on Cayman News Service. If you want to read it, that's where it is.
All right. Well, you could always send it to us at tips@caymanmalroad.com.
I will. I'll send it, but I'm going to read it because it's very interesting to hear.
Yes. Okay.
It starts. It says the emotional toll of.
Hello?
It says the emotional toll of political rhetoric on public school students.
Okay.
I am writing to you as a year 9 student in the public school system, compelled to express the profound impact of the negative narrative surrounding our education recently propagated during the Cayman Islands 2025 general election. As I prepare for my upcoming TCHT exams, which for many of us start this Monday, the 5th of May, I find myself reflecting on the emotional toll this rhetoric has taken on my peers and me, and feel the need to express those publicly. In conversations with my friends, I have heard expressions of shame and embarrassment about being a public school student, to the extent that some students don't even want to be seen in their uniforms. So they stay in the car when their parents make supermarket runs on the way home in the evenings. It is heartbreaking to witness students who have worked tirelessly, earning impressive exam results from as early as year 8, feeling as though their achievements are overshadowed by a reckless tide of negativity being proffered by adults who are meant to be our example of kindness, respect, and dignity, even in moments of disagreement. The public school system has graduated hundreds of students with 8 or more passes, and many have proudly represented the Cayman Islands on the international stages at various events, from sports to robotics to chess to service clubs. If you ask yourself and some of the older generation Caymanians, these types of representation opportunities were but a dream, and in some cases were unimaginable just 20 years ago. Yet in the midst of these accomplishments, the candidates choose to ignore the good that public schools have done and continue to do, and many instances could not find a single positive thing to say about the system, the very system that educated some of them and their parents. They failed to acknowledge the strides made by previous governments that have benefited us immensely, including the meals provided at no cost, ensuring that hunger no longer distracts us from learning, or the computers that allow us to produce our work effectively, and the modern facilities that inspire us to dream bigger, even when the challenges of living on a small island can feel daunting. As the election unfolded, the narrative surrounding our education system became increasingly negative, especially in the last few weeks, accumulating in a barrage of disparaging remarks right before our CXC and the other external exams that will affect our future. The same future they say they are fighting for on our behalf. The truth is, the weight of this negativity have been unbearable for many of us. We are expected to perform well in our exams, yet we have been subjected to month-long campaigns that have left many of us questioning our worth, value, abilities, as well as the value of the education we have been provided thus far by virtue of being public school students. While I am fortunate to have supportive parents with whom I can discuss my feelings and get the support I need to rise above it, I know that not every child has that safety net. The emotional damage inflicted upon my peers is real and concerning. I must also think about my teachers, those who have given up countless hours of their weekends, holidays, and afternoons to support us in every way possible. Many teachers have become parental figures for students, offering the only hug some of them might receive in a day, or the only words of encouragement we will hear. Yet their tireless efforts have been carelessly tossed aside in the prevailing negativity. As I close, it is disheartening to think that the very leaders we look up to have not considered the impact of their words on the nation's children. Going forward, I implore all who speak about our education system to think before they vocalize their criticisms. Your words carry weight, and the children of this nation are listening. It is our future that is at stake, and your words can either lift us up or tear us down. Please remember that we are more than just statistics or subjects or political debate. We are students with dreams, aspirations, and the potential to contribute positively to our society. Sincerely, a Caymanian Year 9 public student.
All right. Thank you very much.
I will say this, Sandra. It is good to hear that the younger generation is tuned in. But now it is time for the government of this day to listen to that generation, because that will be the generation and many more generations that hopefully will take up what this government has left, and future governments should take up once the 4 years is up, and hopefully we get the change we need. Change has to come at some point, because the young children and the future of Cayman is listening, and listening real well.
I appreciate it.
I thank you,
yes,
and you have a blessed day.
Thank
and
you.
I'll send you the letter.
All right, dear.
God bless. Have a good day.
Thank you so much. All right.
Goodbye.
So a lot of you surprised a Year 9 student wrote that, but I don't know how old are Year 9 students. I mean, that was quite well written. Maybe they had a little bit of help from a parent or something, or AI, or somebody helped them. But nonetheless, it's good. Gabby says this is deep. Who knew that our children are feeling this way? It brings up a point, though. Let me remind you guys that you can do letters to the editor. Send it. We will publish it. And in fact, this person took the time to read it. But do you know that you can send video editorials to us as well? And we will put those up. Okay, so let's talk a little bit. Let's spend a few minutes talking about the plan forward, the growth for CMR in 2025, right? So CMR TV and radio coming soon. TV will likely launch first because there's less elements to it. It's not licensed by like OFREG, and there's not going to be waiting for the board meeting and all this protracted stuff that's involved. So we have our website being worked on as we speak. The developer said 4 to 6 weeks or 5 to 6 weeks on the website, and he's now on week number 2. So give or take, no more phone calls, because I need to kind of explain all of this. So that's coming on board. We are in talks with a number of different people. So if you are someone, this is why I jokingly said to Kenneth, you want your own show? Yes, I was joking. But if you're interested, you're a content creator and you want to do your own show, you have a program idea, whatever, now is your opportunity, folks, to please reach out to me. I am obviously a business owner. I've done it myself. I'm an entrepreneur. I understand this space. So although you're going to be responsible for your own content, right? I'm not hiring staff. I'm working collaboratively with content creators. You will have to go out there, get your advertisers for your segment, get your show sponsors, all that kind of stuff. It is still an amazing opportunity for you to get out there and do this stuff. And I will help you. So there is a certain amount of assistance that I will offer, including like if you want to be able to take live phone calls and do what I do, we'll put a package together, show you what equipment you need, the whole works. Okay. So reach out, and I'm happy to assist you, and we'll put you on the schedule. I'm working on show ideas, show content creators coming on board. There's a lot that's happening in the background at the moment. To some extent, radio and TV will mirror each other in terms of the shows, okay? And of course, we're going to do the website first, and then we're going to do channels on Flow TV and C3. We've yet to talk to Logic, but we're going to talk to them. Given the numbers of people that still have traditional TV channels, it's about 20-30% at the most. Most of you will be able to watch it on the website and, of course, our social media channels. All right. The cooking show is coming, aisle 25. So aisle 2025. So where's my notes from this weekend? I had my handwritten notes here somewhere. But in terms of what's coming on board, we've got an exercise show, health and wellness, cooking. We've got a couple other people who are thinking about doing kind of like political commentary and stuff. Some of the government ministers are interested in coming on a regular basis so that you'll be hearing from them. So lots and lots of stuff in the works, folks. I'm so excited about it. I love a good project, and this is very, very exciting times for us for sure. Any suggestions, feedbacks, whatever, feel free to reach out and we will certainly talk. Yes, children's show. There's going to be one for teenagers where they will take the reins. And then there's going to be one for the younger kids to really, really get them involved as well. So I'm just so excited. Lots of good stuff going on. And we want you to be part of the dream team. Hashtag Team CMR. All right. Message me. This person wants to really talk. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Is this Sunday?
Yes, I'm just about to sign off.
Okay, I won't keep you long.
Okay.
But an important thing to know, as I understand from more than one person that had a fixed address, made no movement to have their address changed because they were at the address. How, in Christ's world, can the people that fix the place for you to vote, change the people to vote in another area without their consent? No. And this is what I call tampering, because if nobody gave you the permission to change their address, then that is where and I know some people that wanted to vote in West Bay North, and they said, no, you have to vote in West Bay West. I mean, the person was so shocked, and other people as well, not just that one. So when we talk about international observers, this is the thing that gets me what they come here for. These are the things that they need to come in time to make sure the people on the list are in their right place to vote. This is not good. This is not good for the election authorities that do this show. But however, we have a new government and things are going to have a dramatic change. Yeah. Believe me, because all is not well. I went around to all the polling stations and I did not see 6 or even 4 of my own Caymanian people that I could recognize. What in the hell is going on?
Okay.
Anyway, I guess you heard me, so that is it for now.
All
But
right,
you
my
hear
dear.
more. Yeah.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you so much.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very, very much. That's a whole other can of worms. And let's just say that we'll have to talk about that another day. All right, folks, that's all she wrote. Right. Okay. Go vote. So far, 100% of you are saying that vote buying happens. So it's interesting that the politicians don't want to admit it, some of them. But anywho, that's all she wrote. Good, folks. Tomorrow is Thursday. Tune in early. We'll have more topical issues. I want to talk about that poor little stingray. Oh my God, somebody killed a stingray. How horrible. So we got lots of little tidbits to talk about. Open mic tomorrow. I guess that lady will call back who needs help with her recovering her money. We'll do our best to assist her, yes, as best that we can. Okay? Have a wonderful, super, super productive Wednesday, Hump Day Wednesday. Until tomorrow morning, take care.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Cold Hard Truth on Bobo 89.1 FM. Cayman's #1 talk show is live weekdays from 7:30 a.m. Never miss an episode again. Watch anytime on CMR's Facebook and YouTube channels for the latest show episodes. Don't forget to follow us online on our social media channels. And visit CaymanMarlRoad.com for all the latest news and community happenings.